How's it going, everybody? My name is Warner Fields with Fields of Profit. Today, I'm here with Samuel, who is on the BQool team, also helps do some massive private label business. We're going to be breaking down all that kind of stuff, helping you guys use your repricer better in this video. Really appreciate you hopping on the channel here, Samuel. Glad to have you.
Hey, Warner, it's great to be here. I'm super excited. We have a great program we want to share with everybody today. Today, we'll be talking about a little bit about the BQool background so you understand where we're coming from. We know your pain points. We'll also be giving out some very important Amazon dates, and also what products should you sell in 2023, of course, with input from the expert Warner Fields as well. And then we also are going to show you the different conditional repricing rules that you should use in Q2 and also maybe in Q3 before you get to Q4, and give you specific repricing tips. We are the experts in repricing, period. So we're going to show you exactly what you should do. I'm great to be here.
That's awesome. Yeah, let's just go ahead and jump right into it then.
Okay, so just to give people a little bit background about who BQool is, we started in 2011, so we've been in the business for more than 10 plus years, and we have a large team of AI engineers. Yeah, so we're very experienced and we're very focused in repricing. We're the number one Amazon software in repricing, number one AI repricer, and you can go to the Amazon App Store and just look us up, and we're the top AI repricer in the market. We have rule-based AI, and now the next generation repricing, conditional repricing, different options. So it's very flexible. We start out at $25 all the way to $100 and plus. And we also are in multiple different marketplaces. We've been around for a long time. We're reliable, consistent, and we're also in the Marketplace Development Council, which is an invite only by Amazon, and we know the updates earlier than other people, and we get audited regularly by Amazon. So it's very safe, very secure to use BQool.
That's awesome. Yeah, I've been using BQool for quite a while, so glad to be breaking down some of these AI conditional rules and all that here today.
So for people who don't know where we're coming from, I'll share a little bit about the BQool story. Currently, we are 8-figure Amazon sellers, and we work with many other large sellers as well in the past. So we've been in the Amazon business for over 20 years. We've been in the business for a long time. And we used to sell like retail arbitrage. Then we move on to OA very quickly. And then we did wholesale. And then now we're focused on private label. So we know the pain points that customers are going through. We're selling in multiple marketplaces in the US, Canada, Mexico, also in many European countries, and also in Japan as well. So we created the BQool Repricer in 2011 to help our own sales before. But as we moved into OA and wholesale, and then later to private label, we wanted to share the tool and also profit from the tool that was giving us a lot of sales, giving us a lot of profits as well. And then so we decided to share the reprice with everyone because we believe in an abundant mentality. There's so much money out there that you can make, that especially on Amazon, there's millions of products. So we're not concerned that we're competing with other people. We're focused on private label. We're not doing arbitrage much these days. And then so that's our bread and butter. We also have another software called Big Central that's focused for private label, but we're going to focus on repricing today for everybody and to give you repricing tips, especially if you're in arbitrage business.
That's awesome. It's cool that, you got that background experience. Like same with the team over at SellerAmp. Like we were based out of, just Amazon sellers. So it's cool to see those, those tools just addressing your own problems, leaking it out to the market and, building something awesome out of it. So yeah, I know, you guys are doing pretty big in, the private label space and all that as well. Do you know why you kind of made that shift early on in the journey? Like I know that's a big thing on a lot of my audience's mind.
Yeah, I think, there's pros and cons when you're doing private label. There's pros and cons. And we moved that journey early on is because we found that you could make more profit, but it's a little bit different though for private label and arbitrage. Like the upfront investment is a lot more. So for private label, you're looking at probably between 5,000 US to 8,000 US to get started. And that's just one product. And then for online arbitrage, you could start at as low as $500 and up to maybe 1,500 would be a good amount to start. So the risk is a lot higher when you're doing private label, but you have more control. So let's say for arbitrage, let's say, this deal, you can't find that deal anymore. Maybe the wholesale supplier no longer sells you the product. You have less control over the product. Whereas in private label, you're going to have to do brand registry. You're going to have more control because the product is yours. And then you can develop a brand as well. And then the brand can also be sold later on. Now, what are your thoughts, Warner? What do you think? when do you think is good to do private label, and who's suitable to do arbitrage?
Yeah, for sure. Like you're talking about, like private label requires like a little bit of investment. Like there's a reason you guys started with, RA, OA, that kind of stuff early on. And a lot of the guys who watch my channel are just, doing some reselling, all that good stuff. And you can build that capital with arbitrage and flow it into that private label business, or even, outside of Amazon doing real estate, all that kind of stuff. Like that's what I like arbitrage for, is building cash flow. And then to me, private label is building like that legitimate business where you're working with, suppliers and having that sellable asset. So it's cool that, there's just a lot of different ways to make a lot of money on Amazon.
Yeah, I totally agree. There's actually a lot of different important dates as well when you're doing Amazon, whether it's for private label or for arbitrage. And we put together a calendar of the different Amazon calendar of the important dates. Just to cut to the chase here, the important holiday that's coming up would be in April and Easter. So people could start sourcing for those products already. And then later on in July, there's Amazon Prime Day. This is usually probably better for private label because you can do coupons, you can do other deals, lightning deals, different discounts as well. Then we move on later throughout the year. What are your thoughts, Warner? When are some important cutoff dates for your business in the Amazon calendar year?
Yeah. I mean, looking up, like you're talking about, we're coming up on Easter. It's a good time right now to go out and go try some RA and hit the, that seasonal candy and all that kind of stuff. In my mind, like the most important seasonality for my business is definitely like Q4. I know that's going to be very consistent with a lot of other arbitrage sellers, especially if you're selling like shoes, clothes, all that kind of stuff. It just sells really fast around Q4. And you're talking about Prime Day as well. Like we always see, decent sales days when Prime Days come around, even though it's, more focused on lightning deals and private label and all that kind of stuff. But I'm always, extra attentive to make sure my, my pricing is somewhat correct coming up into Prime Day, so we can take advantage of that, that sales bump.
That's fantastic. Next, we'll talk about, what products that you should sell, throughout the year. And we did a lot of research and we analyzed, different sources from our thousands of customers that we have, and also from the market as well, about what are the most popular products to sell and what categories. So what's really interesting, I noticed that in April, like, why is there a lot of car maintenance? Is because during the winter season, especially right now, it's snowing, it's cold all over the United States. A lot of places, they actually put a lot of salt on the ground. And then so a lot of the tires ruins the tires. They have to switch winter tires for normal, all weather tires. And then so there's a lot of car maintenance. And then for beauty products, I was talking to another sizable seller, and he said that he sells a lot of beauty products, because as spring's coming, people are going out a lot more. And also beauty products, it's much easier to pack into the FBA without damaging. So it's a lot easier to put a lot of them and ship it into FBA. So in general, beauty products, like, it's a good category. What are your thoughts, Warner? Like, is this accurate or in your mind? And or what do you suggest people to sell? What categories in the different months?
Yeah, for sure. And like when we're looking at that calendar, it's interesting and it's good to get those ideas. Like I never thought about, car maintenance being selling faster in April before, but it's something I'm always talking about is, there's always opportunity, right? I think a lot of sellers get hung up on, what should I sell, when there's going to be profitable opportunities anywhere. Going out, doing, just doing a simple, storefront search on people, you're going to see so much variety that in my opinion, it doesn't usually make a lot of sense to like, I'm only going to sell this product when there's so much other opportunity to look at, right? But it's always good to, keep that seasonality in mind. Probably don't buy sandals coming into November, but right now might be a better time to buy sandals, think coming into spring and all that. Like private label wise, especially, is there categories you guys have really loved?
For categories for private label, we have different categories, but we're more focused in household items. Yeah.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
Throughout the entire year. Yeah. And then there's different seasonalities as well. For example, we would have to talk to our experts in the private label area, and then we could give you more details about that part of the business.
Yeah. I'm just always, curious what people are up to there. Yeah, that's awesome. And, heading into spring area, Q2, do you have any specific things you've seen from looking at that data that you would suggest to those sellers who are watching this video?
Absolutely. So for tips for Q2, there's these are more general type of tips, and you definitely want to prepare for Prime Day. You want to find reliable suppliers as well. And you could also consider adding some new product lines. And, before we hit Q4, there's a lot of time that, you can do sourcing as well. And definitely you could use the BQool Repricer with specific rules that we could recommend you for Q2. And you can analyze the data from last year. And it's a little bit early, but you could probably prepare for some of the holiday season. What are your tips, Warner, for Q2? What do you think?
Yeah, to me, like it's a lot of, there's open opportunities, right? So Q1, you probably just liquidated a bunch of, that inventory that didn't do as well as you wanted in Q4. So you're probably starting with a relatively clean slate once you get around to Q2, right? And so I like that, where you're talking about there with you already preparing for the holiday season. season. I mean, arbitrage, it's probably a little early to start buying products already and all that kind of stuff. But something that I'm trying to be very attentive to, even in, the early seasons of the year right now, is looking at the Keepa or just looking at that past data and being able to see when an item might pick up during Christmas. And now is a great time to start making lists of all those items that you think, oh, that might be a great Halloween item later down the line. Let me reference that later. Oh, that's going to be an awesome Christmas item. Let me check that one out later. And so it's cool. Like right now, even though it's not, not a great time for traditional seasonality, holidays, that kind of stuff. You got Easter, I guess, but later down the line is going to get way more fun. So I try to like document all that kind of stuff early in the year. So when it gets crazy, you're not trying to find opportunity and all that kind of stuff.
So you're kind of preparing for like the busy season. You're looking at new products. You're looking at the ROIs. You're looking at which products you can easily source for the more busy time of the year.
Yeah, exactly. There's always going to be like we're saying, like there's always opportunity. Like especially in arbitrage, you don't have to get so especially for those of you guys who are newer sellers, you don't have to overthink. Oh, it's Q2. Like I can only sell this product. Just take advantage of the opportunity while it's here. That's the main tip I have is just don't take another day where you're not taking action. Really is what the main thing is.
I absolutely agree. Yeah, Warner.
Yeah. So getting into, more of the, the meat and potatoes of the episode, I think we're going to go ahead and break down a little bit of, repricing rules, all that kind of stuff. You want to go ahead and jump into that with us?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me explain the differences between the different repricing rules and how are we different than other repricers in the market, what kind of selections that you can use. So we have rule-based rules. These are traditional rule-based rules. And a lot of our clients, they use rule-based rules to match the buy box. And then they might also, minus certain cents. So there's some, very professional sellers, they use rule-based, but they might really know that category, or they might not be in a lot of different categories. So because every category, the amount that goes down might be a little bit different, but a lot of times they do want to match the buy box. So we have the rule-based rules, which are good for that when you really know the product well. Then we also have the AI-powered repricing, which we highly recommend because for the AI repricing, the main difference is there's incremental repricing. So for rule-based, when you set it up, you have to decide how much are you going to raise, how much are you going to lower, how many cents. But for every product, it might be different. So with AI, we've done the design of the AI, so we know that how much we go up, how much we go down to win the buy box. So you get actually more sales, higher sales. On average, from our data, we get about 12 to 20% increase of sales. That's on our data for the ones we surveyed. And then for AI, we have a handout for that as well. You can find that, but basically, depending on what type of products that you're selling, whether you want to liquidate, whether you want to maximize your profit. And then we go to the next generation of repricing, which we call conditional repricing. And then we can reprice by inventory, by also the sales amount, also based on the buy box win. And there's so many other settings. And we can also automate your min price. So we could actually reduce the price when you're not selling the product, get you into the buy box so you can sell the product. And there's so many other factors. And talking about conditional repricing, what is conditional repricing, right? So the main benefit of conditional repricing is you could switch between the different rules. So in the past, you could only use like one rule or you could use AI, but now you can mix and match. So you can use all 5 AI rules. You could mix between rule-based and also AI. So when the market is different, you can switch to a different rule. And that kind of makes sense because our market is very volatile. It changes all the time. And then there's also by sales velocity, you can see how much sales you have. You could also do that as well. And then for inventory repricing, you can reprice based on inventory. How long have you had the product for? So that's what conditional repricing is. And it's so important and crucial to use conditional repricing because you're basing it on the market condition. So for conditional repricing, there's actually 5 different repricing methods, and there's 3 default ones. And the default one, you have the inventory age conditions. These are for slow moving products or individual items that you might not sell. And these are just great for products that you just have, also for liquidation as well if you're not selling it within a certain amount of time, preferably maybe 90 days. Then we have the sell-through rate condition, which is for high volume inventory and IPI score. This one you're going to use a little less now because Amazon now you could actually purchase additional FBA storage space now. So before there's a lot more limits for especially the holiday Q4 seasonal. This is easing because Amazon has a surplus for their warehouse right now. And then there's also days of supply conditions. This is for high volume inventory. This is for higher turnover products and also for replen products. Typically, if you continue to buy a replenishable item after 90 days, then you can use the days of supply to pose them from the Amazon report. Then We have 2 advanced conditions. These are custom conditions that you can build. We have the FBA advanced condition and also the FBM advanced condition. Warner, I want to ask you, which type of conditional repricing rule do you use?
Yeah, I've been using like the advanced rules. We were throwing together some rule sets, just been playing around, especially with like conditional and the inventory age one as well. It's helping me get rid of some of that dying inventory. Could be an awesome thing for you guys at home to try out as well as, playing around with that conditional rules. And especially like arbitrage businesses, cash flow is everything. And so going in there, and at least for me, it helped my cash flow a lot to be able to go in there and have it automatically slash minimum prices just if it gets too old. And that was a big help for me in my business. And I noticed you mentioned the AI, that small AI sales boost as well. I saw the same thing. Like, I saw probably 10-15% sales boost on a lot of our ASINs that were selling decently fast. So that's why I recommend people check out that AI plan, especially when they, get a good chunk of stock in on those different products.
Yeah, completely agree. I do want to ask you, when should people lower their prices?
Yeah. I guess that's the great debate, I suppose. You said you're trying to sell everything in 90 days. Is that how you guys look at it?
Yeah, that's from our consensus of many seven-figure sellers.
Yeah.
It seems like that is the strategy they take, but it might not be for everybody, right? Like, because they want to try to rid of everything. They'll go to break even after 90 days, pretty much.
Right.
That's
Yeah.
what people say.
It's always about like your cash flow situation to me, right? So if you're watching at home, you got plenty of cash sitting around and you're not, you've got some leads that might not be doing as well as you hoped. Sometimes I might sit on those for a little bit longer and see if they recover, especially if the keeper looks good, sellers are dropping off, that kind of stuff. If you're super cash flow strapped, sometimes I recommend dropping that down to, at 60 days, just break even, get your 5% ROI, that kind of stuff. Really, in my opinion, it's more like a sliding scale based on where your cash flow is at.
So it really depends on how much cash you have,
Yeah.
what do you have in the business? And, maybe you have to pay employees as well. You have to,
Right.
a lot of bills to pay. You got to pay your suppliers as well. It really depends. So there's 2 conditional repricing strategies that we want to recommend for people in Q2.
Sure.
So we're not talking about things up in the clouds here. We're talking about, very practical things that you could set up right away, right now. And the first one, the scenario is for kind of a low inventory and popular product. So the product, there's not a lot of new offers if you're looking at Keepa. And then the product is, selling a lot. If you're using SellerAmp, you can see how many products it's selling as well. And then also, you might not have a large inventory of that product. So the price is pretty stable. If you look at the Keepa chart, you see that the last 60 days for FBA prices is all very stable if you're doing FBA. And then this is a good conditional repricing rule for you. And then I can share with you exactly how to set it up. It will take me just 2 minutes. Yeah, it's very easy. So if you haven't signed up to BQool yet, definitely sign up to BQool and get a free trial, and make sure you use Warner Fields link. Yeah, you have to use Fields and Profit link. Why? Because you get 15 days extra. You're not going to find that very, very few places. So that's actually $100 value that you're getting if you use Warner Fields link. So you must use the Warner Fields link. And it's the same plan as the $100 plan, 100, and you get 1,000 listings. So you just start a free trial, very, very easy. You go to the website, start a free trial. It just take you 2 minutes to get set up. You don't even need your credit card. And then so once you set up, like we're inside the software here now, I'm going to just show you how to get to that. So we click on the repricing rule tab. And then once you have opened up the tab here, then you click add new rule. So you're adding a new rule now.
Oh, I see you guys are also raising your prices at night too. Is that what I see on the scheduling there?
Yeah.
Good.
I'm showing you a demo account, right? But I've talked to different people and there's different thoughts about it, right? Like for offers that have between 5 to 15 offers, it seems to work well if you're trying to raise the price. But if there's more than that, then somebody's just going to lower their price and take your buy box. They're not going to follow you. So it depends. It's an oscillation strategy. It's scheduler. So anyway, back to our conditional repricing here. Here's a question I get asked a lot. Can I use a scheduler with the conditional repricing? Yes, you can. You just put the scheduler in the rule. Let's say when we go to conditional repricing, we're just going to click on FBA advanced conditions here. And I'm just going to name the rule maximize profit. Okay, so you're trying to maximize your profit. The scenario is a popular product, bestseller rank, low inventory here, and then you go to next. And then here, the next thing you got to do is really simple. Yeah, you just put in the available quantity because it's already been set up for you. Yeah, so if you look at this, the way way it's been designed by default is on the left-hand side, we have the available quantity, so you don't have to change anything. And then the scenario that we're using, so depending on how big your business is, but usually the one we set up here is for a six-figure seller, so way that they purchase. So they probably pilot maybe 5 to 8 units, and then they might go in maybe 20, 30 units deep. Yeah, so it really depends on your business model. But this scenario is for a six-figure seller or 5 to 6 figure trying to move to a larger seller. And then here, this is by available quantity, and this is by the rule. So basically, there's different settings here. You could use rule plus min price or your price. You could just use the default. It's very simple. If your available quantity is over a certain amount, then you can have a much more aggressive rule. And then if it's a low amount, then you could have a more profit focused rule. So what we see a lot of sellers is they might purchase 50 units. They sell 25 of them using a certain rule. They're willing to, just try to get some of their cash back. And then they want to really profit from the rest of the products they have. And then, they want to have a more profit driven rule. And then, so this is already set up. You don't really have to do anything. This is by default. Basically, you just have to go and change the available quantity to see what you're comfortable with. And then you go to when none of the above conditions are met, we just use AI equalizer, which gives you a more equal amount of sales and profit. And then you're done. And then you save the rule and then you just apply it to your listings.
One thing I would even add on to those like conditionals there is you can click like do units sold like 0 or selling very few. So you wouldn't want it to get super aggressive unless you're not really selling. So hey, I got a bunch in stock and I'm not making sales. Let me change that to units sold 0, go to sales maximizer. Otherwise, you might not want to, if you're already making sales at equalizer, you're probably gonna get more profit and all that kind of stuff. So I've been having a lot of fun playing around with some of those conditional rules. And I like that idea of, kind of going out, kicking and screaming, milking your profits on the way out.
So Warner, you are a more advanced seller. So you know how to really use the tool here. But I just want to show you what Warner is saying. So if you're more of an advanced seller, you have a lot more experience, then follow what Warner said. But you could also add end conditions. In our experiences, you don't want to add too many ends sometimes because then it might limit it to a very specific scenario, and then it might not even reprice. But let's say units sold the last 7 days, and then let's say is less than or equal to 0. And then if you do that, then the units haven't sold the last 7 days, then it goes into your most aggressive AI rule. So that's what you could set it up as. So this is the first strategy to maximize your profit. And then we could show you the second strategy. So the second strategy is for overstock item. Like for, let's say in Q1, you have a whole bunch of overstock items. And then you could see on the screen here, like if you're trying to liquidate the product. And wonder, when should you liquidate the product? Like when do you consider a product is overstocked?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like, especially in, arbitrage world, you probably don't run into that too much in PL, but if you buy something from, the Sephora sale is a good example of anytime I buy a product from there, it always does this in the seller account and it goes crazy and the price drops. In my opinion, if you see that and it's like getting flooded, you usually just kind of cut prices. If it's, just like a little bit of fluctuation, like that's where I might leave it up to that inventory age and just, say, hey, if it gets to 30 days old, let's get a little bit more aggressive, but let's kind of feel it out at the beginning. But, a lot of times you jump on those items right away. It's like, all right, I should cut my price, make the sale. Other times you see the keepa, the seasonality might be coming in. We're talking about sandals earlier. Like right now, probably don't want to tank your sandal listings because they're probably going to do pretty well a month from now. So a couple things to think about, but that's kind of the main things for me.
So yeah, if there's more offers, then maybe it's a lot more offers coming in.
Right.
You're not the only one who found the deal. A lot of people found the same deal, right? And then like I was using an example, right? Like I found these beads like for Easter, and then they're so cheap on Dollar Tree. They're like $1.25 for small and light product. And then small and light, now there's some update where they update to $12 now. So they actually increased it. And so there's a lot of people selling it for $13.95. So like anybody could go to Dollar Tree, buy a bunch of them, ship them in, and then you can actually make about a $4 profit, which is pretty good.
Not too bad.
It's not too bad. Yeah. But anyway, we'll show you how to set up the liquidation here. And then we're going to get the good part for all the people who stay till the end. We have something very special for everybody at the very end. So here, I'm going to show you now in the software, and this will just take me 1 minute here. So I'm going back into my repricing rules, and then I click on add new rule, and then there's already default ones. So if you're not an expert, but you want to have the expert repricing, then you can again go to inventory age conditions. And Warner, something that's really interesting is we have a lot of users that they name their rule after you. Like
That's
they name it Fields of Profit. Like I kid you not. And some of them are other influencers as well. They just call it Fields of Profit rule. Yeah. And they just
That's
put it
funny.
inside. Yeah. It's hilarious. So we're just going to call this Fields of Profit, like liquidation rule, just for sharing purpose here. And then you just go to next, and then everything will be set up for you already. So this has already been preset to 90 days. So after 90 days, the ROI, we have 0%, and it changes to AI Sales Maximizer. So you could actually change the rule plus min price. And what this does, it actually lowers your min price. It lowers your min price. So typically a lot of sellers, they want to have maybe 25, 30% ROI. And if you're starting out, you probably want more because there's a lot more fees than you will ever imagine. Yeah, but they go ROI to 0%. And then for even more advanced sellers, they might even go negative on these. Yeah, so it really depends on your business model. But this is for liquidation. After 90 days, you can lower your ROI. For Warner, for you, what kind of ROIs do you use after 90 days? Like, is it different for different products? Like, how does it work for you?
Yeah, I'd say it's on par with, at that 90 days. Like for me, that's usually where I'd cut to, to break even. And a lot of times, like I'll actually go in and do a little bit of manual work to, start losing money on a couple items if I have to. But, having the freedom to set it to 0% and see if you can make the sales without having to poke around is always nice. For me, like at 60 days, I might bump my ROI down a little bit, down to, 15, 20%, somewhere around there, just because it's clear that it isn't going as planned. But, definitely at 90 days, you want to be making those sales.
Yeah. So if you're following Warner's rule, then you could do the ROI here maybe by 20%. And then, Warner's grown a lot since we last talked to him. Now he's a 7-figure seller. His time is super valuable. So if you want his exact rules, you might need to join his coaching program. Yeah, and then he can share, more detailed information for a seller. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate that.
yeah. So let's get to the end of our discussion today. And we do want to thank everybody for joining our discussion. And then so because of Warner, we really appreciate Warner, what he's doing for the community, so much value he's sharing. We love working together with Warner. We're giving away on his channel for $1,200 worth of repricing. That's on the $100 plan. And you can enjoy 1 full year of repricing. And then it's not going to be too difficult because nothing is free in life. Remember that. Yeah, there's no free lunch.
Yeah, so to be eligible for the giveaway, like you said, we're going to go ahead and give away a full year of that $100 AI plan for you guys. So to be eligible, all you have to do is go activate a free trial. It's going to be limited to new BQool users. So if you haven't already been using BQool, you can sign up with my link down below. Like you said, we'll get you an extended free trial when you use that as well. And just to sweeten the deal, I'm also throwing in a free copy of the FBA roadmap. So to be eligible for that, a year of BQool, copy of the FBA roadmap, make sure you are subscribed to my channel down below. Go subscribe to the BQool channel, and then just drop a comment down below saying, hey, just drop a comment, whatever you want to say, and that will put you in the giveaway for some pretty cool stuff. Help your business out.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, make sure to use Warner's link. For everybody's watching, you get as $100 value right there. If you're purchasing it per month, that's $100. Same plan there. And then so yeah, $1,200. Follow Warner, follow our channel for more reseller tips, and just comment on this video. Yeah, thanks a lot for having us today, Warner. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for coming on the channel and sharing some game on, using repricers, all that kind of stuff. If you had to, leave the sellers with one word of advice, if they're still trying to get off the ground, like what should they go to take action on their business today?
I think when you're starting out, once you get to maybe 50, 100 listings is really a good time to get a repricer. And with a repricer, you need to get into the buy box. So as a new seller, what I recommend you, like when you're starting out, don't think about making tons of profit. Like you need to first be buy box eligible. So you need to actually have lower prices to come in. And then you're actually able to get some sales, get some traction, know the game, and also get in a habit of, when you're grocery shopping, you start looking around, when you're going for a gift, go to the clearance section, start scanning the products, make it part of your lifestyle. And then so every day you're building this generation wealth for the future. And then, the Amazon business model is not for everybody, but the barrier is not that high. So you could get started with, probably around $500. So that's my suggestion. When you're starting out, if you're price it lower so you're able to get into the buy box faster. And then you can start using a repricer once you get to 50 listings or 100 listings. So that's what I would suggest.
That's awesome. Yeah, that's a good nugget. I like the, just build it into your, your routine, going out to grocery shop and check the clearance aisle. I also appreciate the honesty where it's, wait until you got 50 to 100, items to actually go ahead and use a repricer. It might be overkill, right? Yeah, I really appreciate you hopping on the channel, sharing some information with us, Samuel. Like we were talking about, if you want to take advantage of that giveaway, subscribe to both of our channels and then comment down below and activate that BQool free trial. I'm excited excited to give that one away. But I really appreciate you guys watching this video. If you guys did get value out of it, please feel free to hit the subscribe button. All that good stuff helps me out for adding some value with your business. If you guys have any questions or comments, you can drop those down below as well. Really appreciate you guys watching this video, and I'll see you next time.
Bye.